Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to give you a tidbit if you're a podcaster or want to be a podcaster. So the reason for this, number one, I'm seeing just a huge boom of podcasting now that everyone's in quarantine and so forth. And there's amazing, I've done an article that I'll link to on my website about how to get started in terms of podcasting. And I talk about the various equipment, and I talk about the various hosting platforms. And, for example, like Anchor.fm, if you just want to get started, it's a free platform for you to distribute your podcast. But when you do that's all great, but you're pointing to people to kind of an external place. And, one of the things that if you really want to take your podcast to the next level is kind of build a website around your podcast. And in the past, I pointed people to Squarespace and WordPress. Both are wonderful, wonderful platforms. But as far as WordPress, I think it's a great resource if you want customization. I think out of all of them, there's the highest learning curve for it sometimes. It's a wonderful platform. I use it for my website, but again, for me, there was a lot of customization that went to it, and I have at this point basically almost 11 years of experience with WordPress, right? And even like coding and so forth. So, like I said, there's a learning curve. But then there's Squarespace. Squarespace is a nice, easy rollout for you to be able to create your website, but doesn't have as much customizations, but it's kind of like modular. And I know a lot of people use it for, their personal websites of like, here's my work and so forth. But now when it comes to podcasting, there's a new kind of website builder that came out that I was introduced to, podcastpage.io. And so if you just need a website for your podcast specifically, this is a great resource that I think out of all three of them is the simplest in terms of podcast integration. And, I am not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. That's why I'm able to talk about like WordPress and Squarespace as well. But I think this recently just launched, and I think it's a wonderful resource for you if you just started a podcast and now want to, again, take it to the next level and have a website around it. There's various tiers in terms of, features and so forth. But if you just want to get started, like it kind of really creates simple things. And one of the things that I like about it is the fact that it encourages people to subscribe. One of the things like on the new media show, for example, that I listen to, the hosts Rob Greenlee and Todd Cochran, the things that they talk about is podcast hosts don't highlight where people can subscribe that easily. And by the way, I actually fall into this trap, because like I'm weird about it, and I don't like to put myself necessarily out there of like, hey, subscribe. But B, even on my website, just the simplest thing, like my website has, more features beyond just like my website, beyond just like these episodes that I'm putting out. And so I highlight those over like the quote unquote these episodes. But what podcastpage.io does is it makes it very easy. It highlights like the various places that your podcast is available, and it makes it easy for them to get to it and subscribe, which is ultimately what you would want, right? And so that's kind of cool about it. So there's a lot of wonderful things. I am hoping to, it's just a matter of timing to interview the founder of the company and, kind of really talk shop about it in further details. But I just wanted to kind of put it out there and introduce it, because I think, it's a great resource and may truly help you if you have a podcast. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to tune in. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have tried it. Please add your 2 cents. I would love to hear your firsthand experience. And let's converse. And by all means, please share this with a podcaster you know. And as always, if you appreciate what I'm doing but aren't yet subscribed or following me, you can do so. I encourage you to do so. That way you get all the various episodes that I put out right when I put them out. And also, you feel free to chat with me on social media at Svitek. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you next time.